Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences, such as case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversion by 50%. Add Pathmonk to website in seconds. Let the artificial intelligence do all the work. Get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sell as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. On today's episode of Pathmonk Presents, I've got a very special guest with me here today. Please welcome Jan, who is the creative director for WebinarGeek. Jan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you on the show. You are our first creative director here on the show, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about who you are and ultimately all the great things that WebinarGeek is doing in the industry. So thanks again for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm very honored and looking forward to our conversation today.
Likewise. It's going to be great. And it's a huge honor to have you here again. So for all of our listeners out there, give us an insight. Who is WebinarGeek?
Well, WebinarGeek is a Dutch software company that was founded in 2015. And what we basically do, we are a webinar platform where people can create, they can stream, and they can analyze their webinars straight from the browser. So a webinar is basically live streaming, it's a form of live streaming or video streaming. And we see three different types. Either it's live, either it's automated. So it's actually a pre-recorded video file that you broadcast on a later time, or it's on demand, which we all know from Netflix and our favorite streaming channels. So people, it's, what we really try to do is simplify the process. So people go onto our website, they create an account, and they start creating their own webinar. And they can set up their own landing pages, registration pages, their email templates, and then upload their content. So it can be a slide deck, it can be videos. And when they're done, they go live. They can be by themselves. It can be up in a team with co-presenters. They can do it from the browser with a webcam, but they can also create or stream from their movie studio. We see that a lot, that people use green screens and a lot of different technology. These live webinars, they can facilitate up to 4,000 attendees. So it's really epic, actually, to share your story from wherever you are with your audience. And it's also a beautiful tool for growth, because when your webinar is over, you can analyze the statistics. You see all the viewing behavior. You can, for instance, see, hey, why was there a massive drop in attendees? Why did everybody left at 20 minutes? So you can analyze your content. It's really like direct feedback. And like I said, tools for growth. We integrate with many different marketing platforms such as HubSpot, ActiveCampaign, but also via Zapier with 5,000 others. So webinars can be part of your massive workflow, actually. So it's, in a nutshell, what we do.
Well, that's incredible. And I love as well how this solution is able to integrate into, so many tool stacks and with what it provides as well, especially because, there's so many limitations on Zoom and Microsoft Teams versus what WebinarGeek has been able to figure that out and expand on, the additional things that people have been looking for when creating a webinar. So it's really awesome what WebinarGeek is doing.
Thanks. Yeah, great to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, who are your clients then? Do you tend to cater to other sectors or focus on certain industries, or do you serve all types of industries?
Actually, the beauty of webinars is it is for everyone, and this is what we see as well. It is being used by everyone. It's once a week I go onto our chat and I talk to clients in order to get inspired as well by what their problems are, what their challenges are, how they use webinars. And I see people from many different industries, from healthcare to agriculture to tech to education. So on a horizontal level, there's literally everyone. If you look at the company sizes, there's people that use webinars by themselves, as solopreneurs that they want to share their knowledge via digital products, and they use webinars to sell them, up to big corporations or enterprises with 100,000 employees scattered over the entire world, and they go up on a webinar and they share their latest updates. So that is great to see that it's being used very wide. if you look at the employee level, we see everybody in between students and CEOs using our platform. So there's endless possibilities, and that is for me is very inspiring as a creative person also to see, because there's just not like three types how people use it, or three types of personas that we cater to. No, there's endless combinations, and so it's a game that never ends.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game that never ends. So now, in terms of your clients, how do they typically find you? What would you say is your top client acquisition channel? Is it digital marketing, inbound, outbound, or is it a mix of a lot of things currently?
I would say that it is mixed up. It's a great mix of different things, and we also have the right people in place to make sure that these different outlets are being managed. So, for instance, obviously we have the paid channels, Google Ads. We use LinkedIn as well to promote our business organically and also via paid ads, and Facebook as well. So this is more the obvious choice. Then we use a lot of, we are active on review sites. So we make sure that everybody is having a positive experience, because that is reflected on the review sites, right? So for instance, Capterra and Trustpilot, we really like reading these positive things that we see. And also if there's negative feedback, we take that back and make sure that we improve. Third, organically, a YouTube channel. So like last year, my colleague started a YouTube channel, and we all see that the secret of YouTube is posting regularly at a fixed time, and it grew. I mean, it grew, and it still grows. And right now, we see that there's traffic coming from our videos. There's the video, and actually YouTube has become a lead generating channel for us. So that's really awesome to see. And the last category, and that is a category that's really close to myself and my heart, is events. I have a background in events as well, so I'm really attracted to this. So first, the corporate and exhibitions. So next month, we will be in Germany on a very big tech event as well with a stand. So that's really what we like, because then we can talk to people, you get instant feedback. But also our own online event, because webinars can also serve as an online event. And this is one of the projects I'm working on right now, and it's called Enter the Webinarverse. And it is a 3-day online webinar event that we will host end of September, where we will share a lot of knowledge on how to use webinars, but also how can you interact with your audience via the screen. What is the impact on AI in any marketing campaign? So we're bringing in... We're actually, we're going full force there to make sure that it's we're going to blow everybody away. And that is also a moment where we actually hope to get some traffic out of, obviously. So many, many different things.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's really great. And my favorite is, having the events element as well, especially after COVID, bringing the one-to-one with, prospects and clients, and adding that human interactive element again, especially now with where our realm is digital realm is mainly going more towards remote. So I think it's great, being able to still have, one-on-one and connect in person. It goes a longer way as well with the prospects and clients.
Exactly. And they're reinforcing each other, right? When COVID was over, people thought, okay, this is the end of online events, and we're going back 100% to meeting each other in person. But then we had, COVID was too long to actually see and reap the benefits of having online meetings. So it will not go away, but we have to adapt. We have to see what are different forms right now. That is great.
Absolutely. So now I want to switch gears, and I want to talk about you as a leader. So with being a creative director, what are the key tasks that you tend to focus on within your role?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. As a creative director, my main focus is to advertise our business to anybody out there who needs to hear it. We do that through different channels, like I just mentioned. And this process, this goes in 3 different tasks or moments. The first one I would refer to as the formless. And the formless it's a very personal phase for me, because it's where ideas are born. It's formless. They're big, they're weird, they're not working, they're too large, they're often disruptive in nature as well. But there's an essence, and I sometimes I need to. There's more a moment where I need to. You cannot explain it really well. But then that essence that I'm taking along with me, I'm trying to create a concept out of it that is understandable in a way for people. So for instance, my marketing team or our CEO, when I often pitch my crazy ideas to him, and this concept I create in Canva. So I have a standard template and I put the ideas in it. It's some kind of a flow. And then I'm open to feedback. I'm really want to hear what is it, because creativity is not a solo game. It's always I always make the comparison. It's like a tennis game, I throw out an idea, you come back with something, and we build on it like this. The third phase is actually the creation phase. We make a choice, it forms into a project. We roll up our sleeves, get our hands dirty, and I like doing that as well. Video editing, the creating text, hosting webinars. So and these three layers, they happen in random order, very chaotic at times, but still for me, there's a way to keep overview in what I'm doing. But that would be it.
Yeah, definitely amazing. And I completely understand, like my background, I come from the agency realm of things, and I understand that, every day looks different, depending on what videos we have to make, new collaterals, changing the copyright. Do we have to localize, new campaigns for, our market? So I completely understand where all of these things are very different, especially too with being open to feedback. I feel that, especially for a lot of designers, when they first start within this field, they get so attached to their work where, it's important to where, feedback and collaborating is what's going to make you better as a creative. And that's the key to like moving up in your, the corporate ladder as well.
It's true, and it's a lesson that I had to learn as well, because, it's very personal. Creativity is super personal, feedback is not criticism. Feedback is a learning loop, and there's an abundance of possibilities. Even after receiving a 100-page feedback document, there's still so many ways to go. And once I saw that, I started to see feedback as a super valuable mechanism that I would not be able to work without. Actually, it's pretty weird, but it's how I see it.
Like my same here, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we're coming to the end of our interview, and I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, here we go. So what is the last book that you read?
The last book that I read was The Langoliers from Stephen King.
Good. Are you a huge Stephen King fan?
I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I had the pleasure of meeting him once or seeing him once live in Paris. And a quick explanation why the book, Stephen King, as you know, he has so many characters, so many world building, and he can create stories from a cat, from a car, from a clown, from an airport in this case. And that is so inspiring that you can turn anything into a story. So, my mind is blown every time I read his stories. So, huge fan.
Yeah, likewise. And that's amazing. When did you meet him, by the way? That's incredible.
Yeah, there was his book tour in Dr. Sleep in 2014. And I won a prize online. I got a mail and there was a prize. They asked something about who was the actress in The Shining. So there was an obvious answer. And then I won. And I remembered I was in a meeting and I saw that email and I just shouted, and everybody was looking at me. And I was like, no, continue. And then months later, I was in the train to Paris, and it was a crazy experience. Yeah,
that's awesome. It's a great story. That's a wonderful story. I love that. So now my next question is: let's say you had no boundaries in technology, and you could do anything that you wanted. Mm-hmm. What would be the one thing that you want to have fixed within your current role today?
Well, when you're talking about boundaries in marketing, I really have fast think about AI, because this is, we're in a digital revolution, and if we are 20 years from now and look back, we will see that this is a pivotal moment, a lot to learn, a lot to see. There are little boundaries right now, luckily, it's just there's no regulations yet, and if you look at this creative part, there's hundreds of apps being generated every single week So it's a pure moment for creativity. And what I see is that, for instance, a lot of creators on LinkedIn, they're posting their experiments. So AR combined with AI and VR, what does it take? So what would I would like to see is maybe that in a year from now, all these things are possible, but I need them today. So yeah, that is something that I would want to have fixed as the experiments into workable assets.
Yeah, definitely. So now, what is the one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to go back and restart your journey as a creative today? Is there anything that you would do differently?
First, I would say, watch your blood pressure. No, but if I would restart my marketing journey, I started out a bachelor in business administration. I had went into corporate events, but I was always creative. But it was how do you say that? Like it was not out there. I've been drawing since I was a kid. All my school papers, they were full of drawings and graffiti and those kind of things. So at a certain moment, in 2016, I embarked on an entrepreneurial journey in video creation. It was upcoming back then, and I should have allowed myself to lean on that creative entity 100%. And that is sometimes difficult if you're in that moment and But if I restart my marketing journey today, I would say, or to anyone who's starting marketing journey today, find your passion subject and double down on that, and forget all the rest. There's so many content out there. It's easier than ever before to have knowledge. So you actually don't have to have all the knowledge, and that's gives room to create an expertise around something, and it doesn't matter what it is, but it needs to be close to you. So I'm gonna write this down for myself.
A self-affirmation. I'm here. I'm going to put it to mommy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So now we're at the end of our interview today. And I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. But I also want to give you the last word. If anyone were to forget about everything we've talked about today in this interview, what do you want them to remember about WebinarGeek overall?
Well, I would want them to remember that WebinarGeek is your friend when it comes down to live streaming. So if you have a story to share and you have a story to share, come check us out and see if you want to do it live or want to do it pre-recorded. And if you need inspiration, you're most welcome to join the Enter the Webinarverse event, 26th to 28th of September. And I hope to see you there. Yeah.
Amazing. I will definitely be signing up for that event because I'm interested.
Cool, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jan. And for all of our listeners out there, check us out next week on Pathmonk Presents.